Hi guys, welcome back to Casting Commons, the show where we talk and discuss all things Pauper. I am your host Teasdale, and this is my co-host Reese.
Hello.
Today, you may have noticed, as there is a lovely gentleman in the middle of us, we have a bonus episode this week because we are joined by Mirko Ciavatti, also known as Heisen, the Italian representative of the PFP. Apologise if I've butchered your name, I do apologise already.
No problem. Hi everybody, I'm Mirko, and I'm a member of the PFP, and it's an honor to be here. Thank you for the invite.
An honour? We've reached some level of magnitude when we've got an honour to be here. But for those that don't know, he makes amazing content. He streams on Twitch and is also on YouTube. He works in amongst the greatest Pauper scene, which is the LPI, who runs the Paupergeddon and all that sort of stuff, as well as obviously being the Italian member of the PFP. So please, without further ado, Heisen, introduce yourself, explain how you got into Magic, and ultimately what led you to Pauper being your main focus.
So, where to start? A lot of questions. So, I'm a simple player of Magic. I started like 20 years ago on playing when I was a kid, when I was 8 years old. At the start of my journey, I was a simple kid that watching all the older people playing this fantastic game with these monsters on cars, and it was amazing. It was strange also because every card had different abilities, different kind of interaction, and I was fascinated for this point of view of the game. And I remember that one of the first card that I saw on a table game was I don't remember the correct because the translation in Italian is very different. It's like cursed skeleton, but he's not cursed. He's like grudge skeleton.
Skeleton.
Grudge skeleton. Yes. It was a funny skeleton that regenerate every time a removal try to destroy the creature, that block every time. It was an amazing creature when I was like 80 years old. So it was really interesting. And from that point, from that time, I started to play like almost daily, and I played for the most not at the competitive level until my 16 17 years old, just because I didn't have money to to buy cards, and then I started to face the competitive scene, and it was interesting. It was challenging for me, and at that point I started with Legacy. My first deck, my first competitive deck was Mono Black Pox. An incredible deck, an incredible strategy. So I started like a black player with mid-range strategies. So disruption strategies was something that I love to play at that age. And then when the legacy scene goes down on number, it appears the modern. It change the way to play, and I switched format. So I played modern, I played standard, I played every pre-release. So it was amazing. It was very funny. Then I started to work, and I stopped to play for 1 or 2 years, and then was the fault of my girlfriend that that say, "Ah, you don't have hobbies. You are totally focused on work. So buy one deck and return to play." So it was the curse of my girlfriend, because actually I play like daily. So I'm like I returning from work and I say hi. I got to play a league, and then I have to cook and I have to do other stuff in the house. But first I'm focused on have fun and study the meta game and do my stuff, my magic stuff, and so that's all. I played like every format in in the game, but since last 6 years, I'm stuck with. I was stuck with Pauper. That is an incredible format here in Italy, because it's played. It has a huge community all around the Italy. So when I restart to play, I found this amazing community, and I fell in love for for the community first and the game after. So it's one of the reason why here this format is played a lot, I think. No, I'm just a player. I'm a simple power player, actually.
What was the first deck you bought when you come back after those 2 years? Do you remember what it was?
The first deck was in modern. In modern, so my girlfriend was thinking that one deck costs like 50 euros. So I think that for you is like 40 pounds or
Yeah.
something like that. But the first deck was Jund in modern at the time before before the second wave of Eldrazi, and the first deck cost like 1,400 euro. So that it was a lot. She was speechless, but then I started to win a lot of tournament, and the deal was you can buy the deck, but you have to gain the same amount of of money winning with it. So she was the one that pushed me in the competitive scene, also in Pauper. At the first Paupergeddon that I topped. Uh, I call her, and she say with zero happiness. She said, "Remember that the second is the first of the last." So you have to win, or you don't have to return at home. And I won that tournament, fortunately.
Luckily.
Luckily, yes.
So obviously you've for those that probably haven't realised, you have taken a hiatus of late. You spent some time obviously away from Twitch, away from YouTube and things like that. But seeing this, you've obviously been back. Last week you obviously top 80 the challenge.
Yeah.
You are coming back to streaming YouTube as discussed earlier. Are you happy to be back? Are you glad to be back? Have you missed it?
Thank you. Yes, yeah, it's something that I'm missing a lot, but I needed to spend a few months on set up my life, set up my working life. I I need to I needed to fix a lot of stuff, but actually I'm in a good spot. So I think that in few weeks I will return to do content on YouTube. I hope to start. I have a lot of project to do some Twitch lives, and I have a lot of project also with the creator of Paupergeddon, Buse, that is an amazing person, and I have a lot of project. I have a lot of project, and I'm happy because it's something that really I'm missing. I'm missing a lot. Create content is something that I have fun on doing. So uh, that's why I had the consistency to reach the numbers that I have actually, that I have currently. So if I have to give an advice for for new content creators, is try to have consistency. Even if the content is not perfect, it's impossible to create something that is completely perfect. You should try to create something that you think that is different respect others content. My first thoughts when I start to create content was that in Italian there weren't some content creator that was doing something on this way. There is only Mengucci, but there was only Mengucci, but Andrea create contents on different formats, and at that time not in Pauper. So I was one of the first that create something in Italian in a community that was very huge. So I was searching for something for someone that play leagues in that way. So I started when I started. I was lacking of a lot of knowledge. My contents were not perfect. Were very different. I was different. So you have to improve doing that. So if you put passion on what you are doing, people will see that, and people will appreciate it. That so
Sweet.
Yeah, it sounds good. Because to be fair, I found myself when searching for, let's say, wild decks is the best way I can describe it. Most of the time, when I was in early stage of a new set coming out, and I would search for these weird interactions, most of the time the Google search engine sent me to your channel. So
yeah,
like, I'd like type in Mornwelk ephemerate combo for one or something, and then bang, there you go. You are making some Mornwelk ephemerate loops and making everyone's life miserable as they've got no cards in hand. You know, all those sorts of things. It was always unique to see. And one thing that I do like about the way YouTube works is, I've said this with Stompy's channel as well. Um, a lot of people that don't speak your language get very put off by watching YouTube, and to be honest, especially with Magic, as you can usually tell what cards they're talking about, the auto translator for YouTube is actually pretty fantastic. Like, you can
yeah,
easily watch your content in. I've watched your videos, I've watched Stompy's videos, and I literally just have them on while, like, put it on auto translate, put the volume off, and that's it. You can literally just watch it as normal. Because, yeah, fair enough, it probably has some random card and it'll say you're trying to say something in English that's obviously not a word, like not what you're saying, because it doesn't know as a magic card, but you get the picture. Like, it's pretty easy to understand what's going on. Like, you can watch the content and you can understand what you're saying with the translator. It's pretty easy going. So
yeah. I have a lot of comments on below my YouTube video from for the most Brazilian player that says like I cannot understand one single words, but I understand what you are doing. So so I can watch your video and enjoy it. So it's incredible.
yeah, magic is the universal language we all need.
Yes, 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 yes. It's an
Um,
incredible game.
Before we deep dive in, I guess, into Pauper in general, so to me, I just want to know, what is your favourite deck of all time? Is it Jund? That's what it's sounding like to me. And what is your favourite deck in Pauper as well, I guess?
So it's not just because in Italy we are the homeland of mid-range. It's incredible how even in a bad meta game, everyone is playing a mid-range, even if the format is completely control combo, that is worse. So even when it's combo oriented, everyone is playing a mid-range deck. And I was one of the player that started with a lot of mid-range decks, but I was starting to losing with with just because in my local store there were a lot of combo players, and every time I was with my top size and say, oh okay, I discard a piece of the combo, and the turn after the combo player draw a card, oh the piece of the combo out and win the game. So after like 1 month I started to play Jeskai Control, uh, Azorius and Jeskai Control. So my girlfriend doesn't know, but I sold the Jan the Jan deck. I brought Jeskai Control, and I started to win a lot. And I fell in love with blue part of the game, so the control part of the game. And my first really deck was Azorius Stoneblade in Legacy. Was my first love. That's why actually I like Azorius Gate, because it's similar with Squadron Rogue, Brainstorm, and stuff like that. But that was my first love. And in Pauper, the best deck for me was Flickerton. I won like one Paupergeddon, and I top eight other two Paupergeddon with two different kind of Tron. The first one was Ristic Tron, and it reminds me to the prison deck that I played at the start of my journey in Magic with Pox. It's different, but it's really funny to play a card, have like three counter in hand, and say like, okay, if you cannot deal with heuristic circle on the board, you cannot do anything. So I'm happy, and you no. So you have to concede, and or we can watch our fates for a lot of time, a lot of turn, until the clock says, okay, you have 5 turn, and you have 5 turns, and you can simply play a Rolling Thunder on face of the opponent. So it's funny for me. No, I don't know for the opponent, but it's the funny part of the game. It's subjective. So I don't like combo, but I like to not making your opponent play. So that's how I like. So yes, in Pauper, I started all my play style was developed around this play style. So the first deck that I played in Pauper was Acid Trip.
Oh yeah.
Incredible, amazing, amazing. The second was Demir Teaching.
Yeah.
And then I have fun with Murazatron that became Flickertron, and deck like that. So it's a funny game.
Yeah, it is for sure.
Given you obviously play a lot on Magic Online, but also a lot in paper.
Yeah.
Do you find there's like much difference between those for you? Do you find like you have to play different decks on Magic Online that you would play in paper and stuff like that?
Yes, I think that there are many differences respect the two. It's like you are playing into different environment, and there are some feature that are very different. One is the clock, because on Magic Online it's difficult to play some combo decks. Also, a deck like Flickerton was really hard to play at a highest level on MTGO, just because when you combo off with Flicker and Mnemonic Wall, a lot of players try to time you out. So you have to be fast on playing, on clicking, and making decision, because the hardest part of the game is making decision. When you have a toolbox deck, you have to make decision very very fast, just because you can be 1-0 and lose the game due to time. So
Yeah.
it's difficult. And another point, I think that on Magic Online, the Magic Online environment is full of grinders, and grinders try to optimize time on gain some money. So the tabletop tournament are not optimized, are focused on fun, and not on optimize the time. So if you spend like 10 hours on a tabletop game, on a tabletop tournament, you can win less than in 10 hours on Magic Online. So when you go to a tabletop tournament, players try to have fun with the pet deck, or the best deck in the moment. That is not the best deck for grinding on Magic Online. So
Yeah.
it's very different. It's very different. That's why on Magic Online you can face a lot of mono red decks, and not in paper. In
Yeah.
paper, the percentage is completely different. You can face more familiar deck, more Tron deck, or deck like that. So the environment is completely different.
So do you think from that tangential, how do you approach those then? How do you? I know obviously they're different. So how do you find yourself approaching those tournaments?
I so on I don't have a different approach on the true while I choose the deck that I want to play, but just because I'm not a grinder. I used to be in the past, so I did it for I think 1 year. But I'm not an aggro player, so every time I choose the wrong deck to grind, but I choose the best deck for me in that moment, that provide me the highest win rate. So Flickertron was clearly not the best deck to grind, but was the best deck to grind challenge. Grind on the grind challenges, just because I had a very high win rate with that deck, even in paper. So for the kind of player like me, it's not different. It's different when you have to build the deck. Just because in on tabletop, if I expect more mid-range and control deck, I have to build around this environment. So maybe one fog left, one fog less, and one counter more, or something like that. When I have to think about the environment on Magic Online, I have to think about a more aggro environment. So that's why I think differently, but not on the choose of the deck. Only on the choose of the
How
deck
it's
building.
built. Yeah.
Yes.
I guess with moving further on to what's next, with Modern Horizons almost here, spoiler season I think starts next week. What archetypes, since though it's one thing that you don't have control over for the PFP, what would you like to see gain support?
I really hope not affinity, not affinity again. It's it it's hard our work inside the PFP. So please, Wizard, don't make it harder because it can be a problem. But at the moment, I'm the kind of player that. I'm more focused on the competitive scene. So when I think about the competitive scene, I don't have a favorite archetype. So I'm not really into a push one archetype respect another, but I simply play something that is fun. It's under my playstyle. It's into my playstyle, and it's into. um it's balancing inside the meta game.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have a favorite archetype that I want to push at the moment, but if I have to think about something specifically, I I don't know.
On the spot.
I don't know, something for Jeskai Ephemerate to deal with aggro deck, because it's really an hard time for Jeskai, because if you set up that deck for to face aggro deck, you can lose from control deck, or you can lose from Tron deck or something like that. So it's an hard, it's a difficult deck to balance. So I need something that can deal with different corner. So
Okay.
yes, I don't know what. Maybe a removal that can be also a draw spell or something like that. It, it can be like electrolyze. Please print electrolyze or something like that. Yes, it can be a cool card.
I guess following on from that, more old cards rather than new cards. And this is a question we seem to ask everyone in the PFP. We're slowly working through all the PFP members, seeing what they think. What is your opinion on the cards, the black-bordered unset cards that are legal in Pauper?
So that's my opinion, not the opinion of the
Yeah.
POV. But I hate the unset that the card that are legal on the of the unset are really bad. I don't like it. Creates a lot of chaos on every tournament, because there are a lot of people that list every sticker card, but don't play any sticker card inside the deck. So inside the list. So every time you have to choose, you have to waste a lot of time on read every sticker, every card. I never remember every one single sticker. I cannot remember one single card of that. So I don't like that. I don't like that. I really don't like them. Also, the name sticker goblin is different in paper and on Magic Online, so it's another point that I don't like. But we have also to preserve the fun part. So if it's a card is if a card is legal and it's not overpowered, it can exist. But I hate them. I hate them.
That
But
seems to be the
but
general.
basic land card of the unset are amazing. So
Yeah, yeah.
Fair enough.
print more basic land card like that, and I have hundreds of land from that set. So
Yeah, that seems to be the general consensus of the cards is no one seems to like them, but
yes,
Unfortunately, something we've got to deal with.
yes.
I guess before we move on to the state, I guess asking about downshifts, I guess, Reese, probably a good shout. Before,
yeah. I guess that it's sort of different now with Modern Horizons rather than Modern Masters. Like we don't really get downshifts; they're all just new cards. But sort of what do you think about downshifts? Do you like downshifts or do you hate downshifts as well?
No, I really like downshift. It's something that sometimes can shake up things just because the uncommon generally has a higher power level, and I think that everybody know about the power creep of the game, but it's something that is natural in a game like that. So during the time, cars will be stronger and stronger. So I think that uh, generally wizards print commons only for can I say not for constructed format but for limited format.
Yeah.
So in I think that in the last 1 or 2 years, sometimes for some commons, Wizard was thinking about Pauper. I think like a card like Tolarian Terror,
Yeah.
is a card that was I think designed for Pauper. So I think that Wizard started to think about Pauper in some way and uh, print some uncommon as common can gives new food on this format,
Yeah.
and it's an opportunity to how can I say, to bring all the players closer to the format. Just because if you print a card like I was thinking, but I hope not. But a card like Young Pyromancer is a card that in standard was played a lot, in modern was playing, and a lot of old players would love to play maybe again in a format like that. So maybe it's the wrong example, but was the first card that
Yeah.
appeared in my mind. And I think that is an opportunity. So if the card will be too much stronger, like for Sweet Sphere, the PFP is here for you to balance things.
So I guess obviously, apart from electrolyze, clearly, because that's already been said. What is your biggest wish for a downshift?
So I say that many times to Gavin, but we don't have the power to do that. So please write to Wizard, give the power to me for 10 minutes. I mean, that we create an entire new world. So the first things that I can do as a king of downshift can be the downshift of it's really tough to pronounce for me, but sword to
Plowshares.
plowshares, yes.
Yeah.
It's a card that I love. It's a card that I think can fix lot of problems in Pauper, just because control decks can use it, but it's the biggest weapon against control decks because control decks actually win just because they the advantage of ephemerate and ghostly flicker. But if you have an incredible removals that remove from the game instantly it can be a really it can be something that a console deck that has to face, has to deal. So I think it's an incredible card. It's really cool. It can bring a lot of old players again to play this game. A lot of legacy player can would love to play that card. So that's my dream. Sometimes I try to I try to appear in the dream of gaming and say, print this car come, print this car come. But I don't know.
Would you?
I don't have the power to do that. So please write to Wizard. Everyone all around the world, write Heisen for president only for 10 minutes. And
It does make a lot of sense, to be fair. Like, if they keep pushing common creatures like they are, like with Talarian Terror and stuff like that, if creatures keep getting better and better, the removal needs to get better as well. Otherwise, we'll never be able to remove them.
Yes. I think it's fair enough. So
would you accept Path to Exile, or does it have to be Swords to Plowshares?
I think that Path to Exile actually can be really weak in Pauper. Just because think about Mono Red. If you remove a creature on turn 2 and give them a land, it's like a suicide. So it's like, oh, I remove a creature and you draw like 3 cards more because you have more resources than me. So it's very difficult.
Yeah, totally fair. Finally, I guess, what do you think? What's your thoughts? Obviously, I know there is a video that is out now as this is live, but what is your thoughts as a whole on the state of the format?
So I think that the format generally is fine. It's quite balanced. There are obviously some strategies that are on top of the pyramid, but our job inside the PFP is difficult because you have to balance two different factors that are the competitive part and the fun and the casual part. Just because the competitive part need to create an environment that is a little bit polarized. Just because if you think about a meta game with not only, but with 20 tier 1, for a competitive player, from the point of view of a competitive player, it's a completely disaster. Just because you can pick one deck and face the bad part of the meta game. You cannot focus. You cannot make choices that create a difference inside the game. So you have to deal with the number of tier 1 and the polarization. So if you want to upgrade the casual parts on the fun part, you have to try to have a huge number of tires that you can play and win with it. So it's not easy. Also, it's quite impossible to balance perfectly a meta game. So sometimes when the meta game is a little bit polarized, it's a good things. And when in some months the meta game shake up normally, I think it means that the meta game is healthy. So it's a good things. In this case, in this moment, we have for sure some strategies on the top, and maybe one card. The video is out, so I can say that.
Mhm.
So there is a card that is clearly the all that glitter that was polarized too much some part of the meta game, but the deck building. So when you have to think about a deck, you have to start to think about one card, and then you have to create the rest of the deck.
Mhm.
So it's something that can be also unfun,
Mhm.
just because win out of nowhere is not fun for everyone.
Mm.
So when this strategy exists but is not at the top, it can be good. When this strategy exists and it's on the top of the pyramid, it's a problem. It's a problem.
Yeah. So, perfect timing, as I guess that's obviously perfect timing as it's literally just live as well from for us as we've just recorded it. So yeah, so that totally makes
What do you think about it?
so
In
yeah,
real time.
yeah. So real time. This is what I think about it. Glitters being banned is an interesting one. One that obviously a lot of people have asked for a long time. Yeah. I didn't even realize.
Is that actually the
Yeah. The announcement is actually literally just come out right now.
Yeah, that's big. Yeah, that
Yeah.
is really big. It'll definitely influence the format a lot.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what happens to the artifact decks. Obviously,
Yeah.
the Boros Synth deck can just return to like Boros Synth mid range.
Mm.
Obviously,
Yes.
the blue white deck's probably just dead. But then it might return to like Grixis. Grixis Affinity might become more of a player because that was been on a down for quite a while, hasn't it?
100%.
Sweet.
Yeah. Interesting. I didn't actually expect anything to change. But
Okay.
I'm happy that obviously is obviously keeping an eye on the format to keep people happy. As you say, it is more of a. If you look at the metagame percentage from a competitive standpoint, the card itself isn't putting up results where it's like in every single top 8 it's dominating. But as you say, it's definitely restricting the competitiveness of certain decks by your deck building choices and all that sort of stuff. So it's definitely interesting. I do, yeah. Pretty interesting that we literally got to
a
see.
lot of decks to change.
Yeah. Interesting that we literally just seen that as we're recording. So yeah. That also worked out for what do you think the state of the form as a whole. You definitely thought there was something wrong with it and you have changed it. So cool. Perfect time with the question.
Yes. Definitely.
So I guess moving on to not just the amazing changes of Pauper, Paupergeddon. So yeah, do you want to start, Reese?
Yeah. Obviously you've said already you've played in many Paupergeddons.
Yeah.
Have you now that you're sort of more of a pillar really in the Pauper community, do you have more involvement in sort of the organisation or running of Paupergeddon alongside just being a player?
So for many time I try to avoid it, the organization, because generally I need to spend a lot of time on create contents to speak and discuss on the PFP, to speak and discuss with players, to have feedback from different communities. I also spend a lot of time on help communities to grow up, like the one in Poland. It was an amazing community. It is an amazing community. It exists now. It is even bigger. Maybe I didn't do much, but I was simply going to a tournament and use my name to sponsor the event and stuff like that. But they were incredible. They were fantastic. They create an incredible tournament, and now they have a huge community. So it's something that I did with a lot of fun, and but I had to spend a lot of time doing this kind of stuff. From this Paupergeddon of Pisa, I'm a member of the staff that organize something. Actually, I'm the responsible for the non-artist guests.
Oh, cool.
So I'm involved in this, in that. Maybe I will cast some tour, so some tour of play. So it will be funny. And the fault was is of the creator of the Paupergeddon, that is the organizer of the Paupergeddon Pisa. Who's a very gigantic human that is really sweet, really nice person. It's a friend that asked me to help on the organization because the event became bigger and bigger and bigger. So this time we try to hit 800 players. So we will have a lot of guests. Boozer was the one that invest on this format, on this event, choose the name, bet everything on this community, and he continues to betting on this community. So that's incredible, because this kind of tournament cannot exist without him. So yeah, from this Geddon, I'm sad because I cannot play, but I will play. I will play the Pauper Player of the Year, the tournament before the Paupergeddon Pisa. That is like the mm, the step after the Paupergeddon. Just because to qualify for the Pauper Player of the Year, you have to make a top eight inside a Paupergeddon, or you have to win a local big tournament, or your league, because we have some leagues in all around Italy, and every league provides some players for every event, and we have the World Cup and the Paupergeddon Lecco, and the top trio in the Paupergeddon Rome, and the Pauper Player of the Year every time the day before the Paupergeddon. So there are events inside the events. So it's it will be a funny event. Actually, I'm the Pauper Player of the Year 2023. So I will try to take the crown on top of my head. My hand. So I have here I don't know the name of this, but that's the proof of my win.
Nice.
I was going to say, didn't you win it last year as well? So yeah, makes sense. Going to take
Also
the crown back.
With Boros like a normal Italian player.
Yeah. I guess that leads me on to the question of, why do Italians love Boros so much? Please.
No idea. Italians love mid-range decks in general. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know. But when you want to be in your comfort zone and you are Italian, you simply choose a mid-range deck, and and the best mid-range deck during the last 6 years. Maybe not always the best, but the most I don't know the word in English, but the deck that during this year exists.
Consistent. The most consistent.
Consistent. The most consistent existing deck, I think, is Boros in all its version. So from Boros Monarch, Boros. Um, there were lot of versions,
Yeah,
lot
there
of
were.
different versions. But I started to play that deck the most after synthesizer, after experimental synthesizer. That is the card that provide an unfair engine of value in a fair deck. So before there was Monarch, obviously,
Mhm.
but at one point, Monarch stopped to be the card to ban and stopped to be played at all because the engine was old. So they printed cards like Deadly Dispute and stuff like that. So it was slow as an engine. But after synthesizer, the deck gains a lot of stuff to do.
Mm.
So,
I guess my question is: so, what do you think Paupergeddon does well in general, and what do you think Paupergeddon could improve on? I know it's two questions, but value for money.
I think that Paupergeddon was the right point that linked many different small communities all around Italy. So it was the cross linking the cross linking material that uh, create something like an official circuit, like the Pro Tour or something
Mhm.
like that. That was not under. It is actually not under Wizard, not official, but bigger and bigger. So in a community that it was also a point that linked two different important things for our community. One is Magic the Gathering, the game that everyone love if play this game, and the other in Italy is food. Just because every Paupergeddon, there is a huge table with a lot of different specialties of every city, because in Italy every city have a different specialty so to eat. And we started to meet and eat all together. We every time we have a huge dinner before or in the middle of the tournament. Actually, the tournament is a 2 days tournament. So at the end of the first day, we go all together to eat. So it's very difficult to find a restaurant for like 200 or 300 people, but it's very good to link the community all together from all around the world. Last time it was really funny because there was Tiago.
Mm.
I don't know if it's the correct pronunciation, but
Yeah.
from Brazil,
Mhm.
and but he he doesn't speak Italian and English, but he speaks Portuguese. It is quite similar to the Italian. It's not the same, but it's similar. You can
Mm.
understand something if he speaks slowly, and he recognized something about Italian. And there was another person that was speaking Spanish, that is quite similar.
Yeah.
So at one point there were like two people that was speaking in English, one Spanish, one Italian, one Portuguese, and everyone understand each other. So it was incredible, amazing, and that's the point that the Paupergeddon
Mm.
did well. Uh, And I think that to improve the Paupergeddon, I think it's the right moment. I don't know if it will be possible, but I think that it's the right moment to try to have something like a qualification for regional or for the Pro Tour to make the Paupergeddon official for Wizard or something like that. It's something that I want to try to almost try to do. So we are working also for that, and we are trying to push more and more. Just because I think that there are rooms to improve and to grow. So every Paupergeddon hit another record. So
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
I know another way you could also improve. Obviously, not Pisa, but the winter one. You could have us on there casting. That'd be the best way to improve because obviously Casting Commons is the greatest podcast of all time.
Yeah.
You have Paducah Pod on there. Why not have us? You know what I mean? Same thing.
Yeah. Yes. So
Totally.
do you want to come to the next Paupergeddon?
Is that what you're telling us? Are we invited?
You are always invited.
Something like Paupergeddon, do you think it's viable outside of Italy, or do you think the sort of Italian pauper community gives it a lot of what makes it Paupergeddon?
I think that it's an experience that every country can create. If there are many different small communities all around the country, you should try to create a point that can link all the community together and create something something that people want to the people dream or the people want to play to reach some goals. You need to create a target to not not much for the price of the tournament, but for the glory or to be the best player in the UK or something like that. I always play only for the glory, so I never. I'm the kind of player that I don't want to. I never want to split. So I always want to win the tournament just for the glory, just to be remembered in years and years.
Totally reasonable. I think to be fair, it is a good thing that you do say that. I think that is sort of definitely something that people can take away from in different countries. Like obviously, like Poland are trying to do it. Obviously, we're trying to replicate something in the UK, and it is a great thing to have. Like as you say, bringing the communities together. I think for us in the UK, our biggest problem is you have a choice of 3 really lovely cities. I actually don't think the UK has a nice looking city in the entire of the UK. They're all just shitholes. But yeah,
I always think that people generally are lazy, and you need to create a reason to. You have to give them a reason to travel. If you create an event that is cool, that is fun, that is more than a tournament, because Paupergeddon is not like only a tournament, but it's an event. Actually, we have a lot of artists, wizards, artists. So you need to create something that people want to live, an experience that people want to live, and that's a good reason to travel and to spend money to go and a lot of time to do that, to have fun with other people, to share feedback, to share experience in play, to do something like that.
So obviously Paupergeddon's been announced. Paupergeddon Pisa. It's slowly approaching, including, as you've already mentioned, the Player of the Year. Anything you can share with us that's exclusive, only heard here first? Do we get any, anything? No?
I don't know, because the major of the information were spoiled, so I can give you the location, the name of artists, and it will be, but maybe the cup, because the cup of the tournament is not spoiled yet, but it
yes.
will be 800 people.
800.
So,
You told me that to be
800
fair.
persons, 800 800 players. So we hope to reach again the new cup. So
Yeah. No, you
it
said
will be another record for us, and it will be another milestone
you'll
to.
absolutely smash it, as you seem to always do, to be fair.
Mm.
But really, honestly, Heisen, not appreciating this. Not only did you caught us off guard with the announcement, you've also caught us off guard and not brought anything exclusive. Never again. You're not invited back. But I've also
fair enough. Fair enough.
I've also just found out as I'm getting texts about the bannons. Not only is All That Glitter's banned, is not use guys is in the panel, but Wizards of Blanket banned stickers, and Pauper's followed that. So really apt question. So anything to do with stickers and attractions is also being blanket banned. So
I had to do the poker face during the questions.
yeah.
I was like, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But it's what I was thinking. So
Like literally halfway through the episode, it gets announced halfway through. You could have just called us at the start, but instead you just wanted to see our faces. Just
maybe that there will be another announcement at the end of this recording.
So I guess moving on to some panel questions, if you're happy with that. Some general, obviously, what your thoughts are on the panel and all that sort of stuff. Just wondering, obviously, how did you end up becoming a PFP member? Always just nice to know just the backstory. And how do you find it easy or difficult to fit it in around your obviously day-to-day life / your obviously your other magic projects and things like that?
So, as the other member of the panel, Gavin, at one point of my life, just text me on Twitter, and I was like, why a senior game designer of Wizard is writing to me? I was a content creator for sure in Italy, and in Pauper I was I think the greatest in number of the content creator, the Italian content creator of Pauper. So he said like, I have something to discuss with you, and I need something like a get to know interview on Discord, and at that time my English is even worse. I I I can use this moment to say sorry to everyone for my English, but I try to improve it, and I try I'm studying, but at that time Gavin was very smart, and he said the same things that you say to me. So his Italian is even worse. So actually it was good. It explained the project. It explained why it chose people all around the world, just to cover all the communities all around the world. So I choose expert to try to fix problem inside this format before Wizards too, just because Wizards recognize something like they don't have expert that can deal with this kind of problem in a format that is not well known inside the game designer area, or something like that. But the Pauper grow up a lot during the years. So it was a project of Gavin, but it was I think a really good idea. And I'm really happy of my work inside inside the panel. I put a lot of effort on understand the metagame, playing it and discussing it with some top grinders inside the community. So on Twitter, on Discord, on a lot of servers. I cannot reply every time because it's impossible. There was a time in which I received something like 300 messages in one day. It was really scary
Yeah.
at the start. Just because yes, it's good, but I don't have time to reply to everyone. And it's it's not easy, but it's very interesting to do it. Uh, it's very interesting to be part of
Oh,
this
100%.
group. So I'm happy because every component of the panel is expert in different area of the format. So everyone is open to discuss. Everyone is open to provide feedback, different point of view, and our work is to try to link everything, try to find sort of agreement for everyone.
Yeah.
And I'm happy. I think
Good.
we are doing a great job. So
Yeah. I guess following on from that, obviously, Pauper's benefiting a lot from having the PFP. Do you think there, like other formats, would benefit from having their own version? So if there was like a legacy format panel or a modern format panel.
So I think that inside Wizard there are I think some group of testing or some expert of the most played format, like modern and obviously standard. Just because standard is the format that Wizard has to push the most. I think that probably the most is played in America. In Europe, I don't see
No,
players
no.
at all, but only in the competitive scene. But I think that every other format should have this kind of panel, uh, just because there are players that are stuck in some format, are really, really expert in that format. I think about a lot of also commander players or legacy players that play that format since like 30 years ago, and didn't miss one single metagame, and can provide a lot of information to fix many problems.
Yeah.
So I think that it's a good idea in every format that is not followed the most from Wizards.
Yeah.
Because in that form, in those formats, Wizards are doing a great job, a really great job. If I think about modern, they balance everything, I think, quite well. Even if every modern Horizon break every
Yeah.
rules, but I think that they are thinking about these breaking points that they create every time. So it's a choice that Wizard are making, but there is a thoughts behind that. So I think that it is great. You can like or not, but when things shake up and became different, there will be anytime there will be always some part of the community that will start to mm, say bad things about that, but for the majority of the community, if it's good, I think it's good. If the numbers grow, it's all good.
Mm.
Yeah, definitely.
So I guess a bit of reflection on yourself in terms of like the PFP. How do you think you're doing PFP wise? Are you happy with your involvement? What would you like to see done differently, and how do you think the community views you in general? I know that's a lot of questions.
I'm as I said before, I'm happy of my
Yeah.
work actually.
Yeah.
I'm happy of the components of the PFP.
Mm.
I think that as content creator, I think that I'm the smallest one inside the panel, but I try to cover this lack with my competitive knowledge.
Mm.
So I think that the community see me like uh, I, the community is considering me as maybe the competitive part of the PFB.
Mm-hmm.
So that was that's what I think,
Mm.
and the feedback that they provide to me is around that. So
Mm.
I understand
Mm.
this, and I don't know if you can say something on it.
Well,
What do you think
we
about that?
we always say, to be fair, we've always had a big. We do this podcast obviously every week, cover challenges and things, and we've always said it's actively good and nice and refreshing in the sense of seeing you and Weber in particular constantly, consistently being in challenges. It really gives, like, even in Paupergeddon or whatever, or even like Brazilian nationals and things like that, it shows like an activeness, even though,
Yeah.
even if you're not the most competitive or whatever, being active in those communities and places where people play Pauper, it almost gives like a, I don't know, like a reassurance that's not needed, but it's there. Like you can actively see your name on a list of decks. Do you know what I mean? And it's not. It's good. It
Yeah,
gives faith in a lot of things that obviously you're doing a great job, anyways. But it also shows that as opposed to telling us that, if that makes sense. Yeah.
thank you, thank you.
Mm.
I appreciate it.
Mm. I do, however, wish you would pick more interesting decks like Corgate and Fairies. Like seriously. But yeah, yeah, it is great to see.
I guess my last one from like the PFP side of things is like the communication. Like we've just obviously got a video then that we'll be watching after the
Yeah.
recording. How do you feel about the communication from like the PFP as an entity as a whole? Do you think it's enough? Would you prefer it if they communicated more or less?
So I think that at the start of our journey inside the PFB, informations were difficult to share, especially numbers, percentage of the presence of some deck or the win rate of some deck, because we were able to say, okay, this win rate is really high, but how How many? How many? We need numbers because from a point of view of a player, if I wasn't inside the PFB, I will be a little bit angry about that just because the transparency and I can say okay that deck is good, but how much is good? Because that difference is really really important. It's
Mhm.
very very important. So by time according to Wizard, we were able to share a lot of information more, and by the video of Gavin, and also in the last video, in this video,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you have to watch. But in the last video, I remember that we share a lot of percentage, a lot of win rate, and that was an important step to be more transparent.
Mhm.
Transparent.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I'm happy because we are working on it, and I think that Wizards is doing a lot of step in our direction.
Mm.
So the community should be, I think, happy of that, and we are doing. Um, in the meantime, if we do a great job, Wizard can trust more and more in us, so we will be able to do other things. That's my idea, and maybe at one time I will have the power to downshift something and become king of the
Let
world, and that's
let me know when you do get that power, and we'll send you a list.
yeah, yes, yes,
Yes.
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 In that case, I will try to to bring Pauper all the format in my hand, and create something new, create something.
I do think generally, like the actual video communication, when the actual videos do come out, they are by far above and beyond any form of format health, format communication, what have you. It is absolutely next level. I do definitely agree with that. Um,
Gavin is incredible
yeah.
on doing that. So
I do think that sometimes I don't think it has happened like the past few times. I do think sometimes some of the videos don't need to be videos though. However, I have felt that like maybe 5 videos ago, like it was very much like here's the format update. This is what we think. This is what we're keeping our eye on. This is why I said this when Emma was on as well. You need a PFP Twitter. That's it. Just tweet. We're all doing great. We think the format's healthy. We're looking after this because, for example, like what happened to this video? What do you got any secrets? Why was it delayed, or was it waiting for information, or was it because it was delayed like 2 months, right? 2 months, something
I
like
think
that.
so.
Something like that. Was it because you were waiting for data, or was it you were deciding on if you think it should be banned, if you think it shouldn't be banned? What was your, where was your the reasons for the delay? Sorry.
It's something we
Just
simply discuss every
yeah,
time.
yeah,
So we are not in the same spot of the announcement of Wizard,
yeah.
but we can technically mm, update
Mm,
the banned and restricted list anytime.
mm,
So um,
yeah.
if we believe that there is a problem,
Mm,
we came out with a video and
mm-hmm,
communication and something
mm-hmm,
like that. Technically, if everything is fine,
mm,
there is not too much to say,
mm,
but I think that it can be a good idea. It can
mm,
be an announcement at the end of this podcast, maybe,
mm-hmm.
or something like that.
Yes, happily. Whenever you want that, sign us up. We will NDA
But
the shit out of it. Don't worry.
but I always keep every feedback seriously. So
Because I do think you do like your communication is like absolutely fantastic, but for me, my main thing is obviously, say 6 months ago or whatever, say 90 or 80% of the people thought the format was fine. You would have 20% of the people saying, well, where's this update? I want this card banned. I want it. And even if you guys agreed that it's fine, like waiting on a video for them is more. I know you're never going to please everyone with your ban list, but telling people like no news is good news and then waiting 2 months for an update and 2 months for an update. Even if you just write an article saying, oh, this is fine, we think this is fine, these are the win rates because it's totally fine. We're happy with the state of the format. Like, it's do you know what I mean? No news is good news generally, but for me, sometimes no news is bad news for other people. If you do you know what I mean? I don't know.
You feel like that if we are we are not peak. It's like we are not working, something like that.
Yeah,
the general meaning.
Because I don't think that, because obviously we've spoken to a lot of, like, you know, we've had Weber on, we've had Emma on, we've now had you on. Like, we know you guys obviously are always talking constantly in Discord, just are constantly looking at it, but some people don't realise that, and you know, so I often think that some people think, oh well, they don't care, they're not playing Pauper, so they haven't released a video in 3 months or whatever, so they don't care about this format, and I think that side
it's where they play Pauper.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's why I think like a PFP Twitter page would, if someone says, well, what's happening with this at PFP, and then Gavin sits there and responds, we think it's fine, go away, leave me alone, gremlin. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Because
I understand. Maybe if we will open the Twitter of PFP, the first tweet will be tell comment below and tell the wizard to give the power of Downshift to Heisen.
Exactly.
For 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Give me only 10 minutes.
But yeah, I do think your communication is absolutely fantastic, and I do think generally, like, even things like Brothers War, Gavin said the PFP have got their eyes on Energy Refractor. It's very similar to a card that's banned. We're keeping an eye on it. Like, even that, you would never, ever get that in any other format. Ever. Like, you just wouldn't. Like, it wouldn't be some random, you know, Wizards of the Coast staff member going, we're going to look at this card in Legacy. Just wouldn't happen. And that's good. I do believe we will watch the video and read the article to find out. I do believe you have said in the video there's a card that you're watching for in Modern Horizons, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
In Modern Horizons, I don't know, because we have.
Well, you won't obviously see it, but apparently there's something in an article that says something's on a watch list. We will check and confirm that. Obviously, we haven't seen it yet, but so like that sort of thing. Like, even if like that's true, and obviously with the Energy Factor, that sort of level of communication is absolutely immense. Yeah. So
seeing the cards of the next expansion, the next set. So in this case, Modern Horizon 3 is another superpower that I want to develop. Actually, I don't have that power, but I'm working on it.
You're working. You're trying. Yeah. Do you have anything else to add, Reese?
No, that's been really good. Thank you for joining us.
I've got one final really important question that I do let everyone know that has been on here, especially if you are a PFP member. If you think the PFP members will look at changing or even adding members, first of all, do not forget to let Gavin know where we are. Mainly me, selfishly. And secondly, if you want to hit Gavin up, you know, let him know to come on and all this sort of stuff. It'd be great to have him on too. You know, I'm trying my hardest to get him here.
I will do it for sure.
I look forward to it. So yeah, if you would like to let everyone know who's listening, where they can find you, if you've got anything coming up and anything you would like to shout out and all that sort of stuff.
So, thank you to invite me, and thank you to every person that listen the podcast and listen my bad English. I hope you can understand what I'm saying, but I did all my best to do that. So they invite me a lot of time ago, but I was really bad, but actually it was a really good experience. So thank you. Maybe next time we can do some content together on YouTube.
Yeah, sounds great.
So I will use it to improve my English and we can do
Yeah,
content together. But so
sounds good to me.
it can be a project. So stay tuned for
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 part
more
2.
content.
Yeah, first of all, yeah, your English was absolutely amazing. Yeah, better than my English, to be fair. And yeah, I think I invited you when we were playing. I played against you on Magic Online, and I think my first phrase was "Please ban bridges," and then it was "Please come on the podcast," and then I then DM'd you and was like, "Do you want to come on?" So yeah, but it's glad to finally have you on.
I did only one of the two things.
The what was it? I've lost my train of thought now. Yeah. So
you're doing that outro.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So it was obviously great having you on. Thank you for finally. And don't tell Weber, by the way, you were actually the first PFP member that I did invite. Just don't tell him. So if you guys have enjoyed this podcast, please do not forget to share it with your friends, your family, and your local pauper community. Word of mouth has obviously continued to grow this podcast and provided a big influx of viewers, which is obviously great, and allows us to have people like Heisen asking to be on once he's ready and surprise us with an amazing announcement as well. So that was our actual Raw announcement too. We haven't seen this yet, so we're going to go see it and then record our normal podcast. So
yeah.
So there you go. So yeah, if you have enjoyed, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and also do not forget to tell everyone, including your professional cuddler. That's what we've put this time. That is all from us at Casting Comments. Until next time, do not forget to stay hydrated. Peace.
Bye.